This is from chapter 4, number 35. And in this one, a projectile's launch speed is 5 times its speed at maximum height. Find launch angle theta naught. So with a problem like this, it feels potentially a little bit daunting because it's not very much information, and then we somehow have to figure this out. So as always, I like to draw a picture. And so we know it's a projectile. So I will draw a projectile. Here is our launch angle theta naught. Here is our initial velocity, v naught. Keep in mind that it says the launch speed, it's speed at maximum height. So we're not comparing velocities here, we're comparing speeds in this initial piece of information. And so our velocity, as we know, is at a certain angle. But the other piece of information you need to know about this in order to solve it is that at its maximum height, we know something about that velocity. We know that the velocity in the y direction goes to 0 there, and then the entire velocity is the x velocity. And we also know that our x velocity is going to be constant the entire time. So right here, we have Vx, which is the same thing as a component of our initial velocity right here. And so now we can put this in terms of theta, because we know that Vx equals V naught cosine theta naught, because it's the x component of our hypotenuse, or that velocity right there. And so if this is 5 times bigger than this, then we could say 5 times V naught cosine theta naught equals V naught. And I've talked to some students who have trouble figuring out where to put the 5, if they should put it right there, if they should put it right there. But what I do sometimes to make sure I know what I'm doing is to just plug in some numbers and make sure that it makes sense to you, because we know that the launch speed is 5 times the speed at maximum height. So if this is 5 times that, then if we imagine that's 5 and this is 1, 5 equals 5 times 1. So that works out. Some of you, I'm sure, can just do this straight away, but if that helps, then great. So from here, all we need to do is solve it. So our V naughts cancel out. I'm going to bring my 5 over to that side. So I'll have cosine theta naught equals 1/5. And then from here, I can just use our cosine on my calculator, and I'll find out that theta naught equals 78.46 degrees. Bum, bum.